Oh my god, that looks sketchy.
It's like an aggressive. You start doing well, so you start feeling more confident, and the confidence makes you go faster.
Yeah.
But the faster you're going, it turns out the worse the crashes are.
Hello and welcome to episode 2 of our Derailed Trail Series. You may notice I'm wearing very similar clothes. Pure coincidence. I'm also standing in a similar spot. We like continuity here at the Derailed Series, and that's why we do this kind of stuff. In this episode, I'm joined by Lachlan Blair. Lachlan is just signed with the Orange Factory team. He is a very close friend. I've known him for years. We've got lots of different stories of racing and stuff together that we've shared. So we talk about that on the climb. We talk about his injury. He broke his leg a few years ago, pretty serious injury. We talk about his switch from downhill to enduro, and a bunch of other things. And then I try and keep up with him on the descent, which I kind of, for the most part, did. Cresta was, you're going to hear a little bit of, I would just say, negativity from Cresta possibly on the way down. He's trying to make me, Cresta's threatened by me getting back into riding, and he's trying to squash my confidence. That's all, that's what it is. So you're going to hear a little bit of that, just try to ignore it. I think for the most part I kept up with him, and enjoy. If you do enjoy, as always, we still want you to comment, like and subscribe. I would rate it in a like. We're not that bothered about liking it. I think if you were going to do anything like small, comment, but it's as easy to press the subscribe button as it is to watch the video. So if you're watching the video, that actually takes time. Subscribing takes no time. Just click the subscribe button. And comment too, as I said. We want more people beyond our family and friends commenting. And weird bots, which we definitely don't want those kinds of comments. So if you can comment, that would be great. With positivity, positive feedback, or constructive criticism. I take compliments that probably better than constructive criticism. Any comments are welcome. Please subscribe. See you next week. We hope you enjoy. Okay, sweet. Lachlan.
Morgybear. Here we are.
What do you want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about Team Snuggles.
Team Snuggles. Oh, those were the days. Snuggle bus.
The Snuggle bus. That was the best crack. So obviously for everyone else, because this was just our inside joke.
A good time.
We were away. We spent a lot of time, just the two of us, basically sharing a bed in the van.
We did. We did.
And then we called ourselves Team Snuggles.
Team Snuggles. I mean, the nights were cold and long and dark.
The nights were cold.
It was February.
I still laugh so much. At the time, I was thinking we were talking about it just the other week, where you were snoring like every night. So I was like sleeping outside quite a lot.
We'd go to bed, both of us get into our little dens in the Snuggle bus.
Yeah.
Get ready for a night's slumber. I'd have beautiful, peaceful night's sleep. Wake up in the morning. No Morgan. Where's he gone? He's not in his cabin.
Yeah, I used to throw the mattress outside, and then actually had some really great night's sleep under the stars.
I just open the side door in the morning. Morgan would be there on the ground, wrapped up, just usually half under the van.
Yeah, you
like to tuck yourself under the van.
Got
bit of protection.
Bit of coziness, you know. Hey, Cresta, you might want to slow down a bit.
The boys aren't fit.
Just for a chatting pace, podcast pace, we can call it. Also, just so people don't hear us. Anyway, so one night we decide we're going to do something about.
We're going to sort out my snoring. It needs sorted. Because I mean, I'm sleeping great, but Morgan's not.
And
not
you have
himself.
The genius idea.
I figured it out. Well, quite a few nights we discovered that it was only when I was on my back that I was making the loudest snoring. So Morgan would like bang on the cabin.
Yeah.
Get me to roll over.
It's funny actually. That's a trick I still I would always do that because Cresta, you were the same in the van, and then I was just like, if someone's snoring in the van,
with so many snorers.
I just make a loud noise, and then usually they would kind of like rustle around or something, but they wouldn't. Usually someone like half asleep doesn't put two and two together.
No.
You know, like I've just woken them up deliberately. And then one night Mackie, I was like banged on the van, tried to get Mackie to stop snoring, and then like didn't really work, and I did it again, and then did it again, and then he's just like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then I just pretended to be asleep. I just didn't fancy dealing with that kind of conflict like 4 a.m. Anyway, so tennis ball story.
So yeah, the tennis ball was the perfect solution to this issue. If I duct taped a tennis ball to my back, then I wouldn't sleep on my back because it'd be too uncomfortable.
Yes.
That was the theory. Now this should work because it forced me to sleep on my side or my front, any of the sort of unoffensive, non-snoring positions.
Yeah.
But what happened, Morgan?
Well, what happened is,
what did I do?
and I still laugh about this. Wake up in the morning, and you've just had a full night of rest.
As always, a brilliant night's sleep.
Another brilliant night's sleep for Lachlan. I slept outside again.
Again, the snoring
And you've
didn't
just
stop.
got a slightly sore back because
I was
you
too
slept
stubborn
on
to sleep on my side.
I slept on the
I just
tennis
slept
ball.
lying flat on my back on a tennis ball, and then I just had a sore back for quite a long time after that.
Absolutely.
It was not the solution we hoped it would be.
When was the last time you were on a van trip?
On a van trip?
Yeah.
Last year, I suppose. Although,
Like sleeping in the van?
nah, we didn't really sleep in the van last year.
Seems like the buzz.
We're stepping up our game these days.
Yeah, like you guys got a bit luxurious now. Everyone's staying in real bricks
Staying
and
in
mortar
Airbnbs,
accommodation.
treating ourselves. The last time I was van, when would that be? I think the year before. Yeah, the year before I'd stayed in the van a lot. Me and my girlfriend Emmy
Yeah,
in the Berlingo, tiny little van.
like travelling around to the races.
Yeah, I've just been went to a few EWSs and stuff in the van.
So then, the last time when we were last racing together,
Staying campsites.
a
A little bit more luxury than we used to do.
Yeah, which was, there's a definite fun in just sleeping in, what's the name of that French supermarket?
Carrefour?
Carrefour car parks.
Yeah, they're the good ones.
Rusted up some breakfast in the morning, some coffee.
In the car park.
Exactly.
All the facilities you need just inside those sliding doors.
That's great. I have such a fond memories of Carrefour car parks.
Glorious place to be.
So the last season when we were away in Portugal on the Team Snuggles trip.
Was that our last van trip?
I think so, yeah. That was also pretty much when I stopped racing. That was
No
like
coincidence there.
I found other loves like Snuggles.
Like Snuggles.
And then how was your season? So that was 2015. You were still racing downhill.
Yeah.
Uh,
Still commit to that downhill.
and then
Oh
your
yeah, I
results.
got one UCI point on that trip.
Which
At
one of the Portuguese races?
race, yeah.
Was that the last one?
It was the one
That you did quite well at the last one. From memory.
Pampelhosa de Serra,
Yeah, that
the
was
one
the
with
last
the really
one.
nice hotel.
That was the one where
We slept in the
we
van.
both did kind of crap in our qualifying,
Yeah.
and we're around the same.
And
then-
Ronan was with us.
and
Ronan
Ronan was
done
with us.
amazing in his qualifying.
Yeah, and then he didn't even race.
And then decided
He was
didn't
like,
want to do
yeah,
the
he
race.
did so sick. And I was like, yeah, I don't really feel it, not going to race. And then we both did kind of shit. And then you were just like, no,
No.
I'm not doing this. And you just like upped it about 10 seconds.
Yeah,
You got
just
went about 10
improved the
seconds
qualifying
quicker.
time by 10 seconds.
I had another run around the same, similar sort of pace.
Consistent.
Yeah. And then, so that season, you started to get, I thought like,
I
you
don't know
definitely I think you qualified a couple races, a
that
couple of the World
season-
Cups.
I don't even know if I qualified any that year.
I think you might have.
Did I qualify at Andorra that year?
What bike were you on then?
I can't
Solid.
even remember. Was that solid? What was? No, I think it was a Specialized.
Yeah, you were on the Specialized. And then you were on the Solid the next year. Were you?
Yes, it must have been. It must have went that specialised, then the solid, then another specialised, and then canyon.
Yeah, so it was kind of when you got the canyon. Like what year was it that you started to get some really good results?
2016 was like my first. I qualified it. Well, I've always come 81st.
Yeah.
I used to just qualify 81st, which is back in the day used to be top 80 qualifying.
Yeah.
So I just came 81st at all of the qualifying. Break my little heart. But yeah, then 2016, I qualified like 60th or something, and then done a main event, which was nice.
Yeah.
A nice change. And then 2017.
That was the year you were doing really well.
Better,
yeah. That was the year you got 21st at Fort William.
Yeah.
And you broke your leg.
And I broke my leg.
2017.
So, highs and lows, both mixed in together.
Do you think it's such a brutal sport like that, because especially I suppose downhill, like finally like you're getting their kind of like real good results.
Yeah.
You're feeling super confident, and then it just like, and then that it's the very thing that is the reason you're doing so well is the same thing that hurts you.
Exactly.
Is that confidence.
It's like an aggressive. You start doing well, so you start feeling more confident, and the confidence makes you go faster.
Yeah.
But the faster you're going, it turns out the worse the crashes are.
Yeah, totally, yeah. It's like, it's such a hard, it is like, I suppose
it's more unexpected to crash when you're feeling that good.
Totally, yeah.
When you're feeling really good, you sort of feel
you're invincible.
Like the run's going to go the way you want it to go.
Yeah.
You're only really thinking about the run going well. And then Leogang for me, where I'd done my leg, I was coming down, I hadn't done the jump yet because it's quite sketchy, quite big, there'd been a few people crashing on it, and I was coming down the straight before it, and I was remembering back to when a few boys crashed on the Tiso jump at Fort William.
Yeah.
And like Martin Mays tried to like pedal to get his back end back down because he was going over the bars on the Tiso jump. So then I was in Leogang, I was coming down towards the slash jump, and I was like, if I'm going to start going over the bars on this jump, do you think pedaling would help? And then that was just in my head for a second. I was like, don't think about that.
Yeah.
You're about to send this big jump, just ignore that for now. And then I hit the jump full speed, way too fast, and just started pitching forwards. Didn't try and pedal though. I just tucked my head in.
It's the worst feeling because it's like something out of a bad dream. Like once you start tipping over the front, there's nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can do. I was just watching I watched the landing go past. So in the air, having a good time, then not having a good time, and then I was in like this position.
Oh, God.
And then I reached like the point of no return, but I hadn't like reached the apex of my flight yet, my trajectory. I was still tipping forwards, and the only thing I could do is just tuck my head in. So I just watched the landing go past and go like this. I landed directly on the back of my head, but I didn't get knocked out, which is weird.
One good thing, I suppose.
That was quite.
Can you
quite
do show the pace a little bit? It's not so much. It's more just for the audience. It's the breathing.
The breathing.
Yeah.
Look, Cresta's there, freezing cold, because he's at such a low heart rate right now. Me and Morgan cooking, can't even breathe.
I am definitely warmed up now. It's a fucking freezing day.
Really
yeah,
fun.
that was, to be fair, grateful for that. But this one's funny because when you listen to just the audio, like the last time it felt super chill, and listening to the audio it's like this time feels slightly less chill. So.
I know, I suppose it's a bit it's probably quite uncomfortable for the listeners to be listening to two boys just heavily breathing down a microphone for quite a while.
So you're lying on the ground, how sore was that?
The moment it happened,
yeah,
I feel like you've been hit by a bus, but you don't feel any pain.
You haven't really realised what's going on yet.
Nah, you're just lying there a bit dazed.
Because it is, I mean, you like snapped your femur in two.
Clean in half.
Like it's a serious injury.
I was lying on the ground and I thought I had a dead leg. I was just like, oh, my leg is so dead. I can't even move it. I was just sitting there for a while. People were coming over, like no medics or anything, just Jorge Garcia, one of the ECI comms guys, was there with me. And then Elliot heaped on the jump behind me. So he was chatting to me for a bit and then he left. But I just thought I had a dead leg, so I was just like, I'm alright. I just need to sit here for a few minutes. And then I thought, you know what, I'll just try and get off the track, because I'm blocking the track at the moment. And I just tried to move my right leg. And I'd done the movement, but my leg didn't move. But I just felt something inside my leg moving.
Oh my God.
So something was moving in my leg, but the rest of my leg wasn't moving. And I was like, this isn't right. I thought I dislocated my hip, was what I thought I'd done. Because it felt like I just felt like movement in there without anything happening.
Okay, so you feel your bone moving.
And then I realised something bad had happened. And then it just slowly, the pain started coming in. And it wasn't great.
Also, like the fear. I mean, one of the things with racing downhill is you kind of get used to hurting yourself.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, I sprained my wrist once as a child. And I just sprained my wrist.
Yeah.
I went to sick kids and, like, they put me in a splint and stuff. And I was so scared about, like, going to the hospital, about being put in a splint. And, like, the fear adds to the pain of
definitely.
your injury. And then, like, you kind of get used to injuries like broken wrists, broken collarbones.
Yeah.
Even dislocated shoulders.
Yeah, you start thinking it's going to be. In your head, you're like, this is not good.
Exactly, but the ones you're used to, like you're kind of used to the process of like, okay, I got used to it anyway. Like I've done something to my arm. I'm going to be put in an ambulance.
Yeah.
And then in like a couple months I'll be racing downhill again.
You get really insensitized to going to a hospital.
Exactly.
After a while.
But something like a femur break or like a leg break. Like, do you think like in that moment you were also just kind of scared of what that injury was going to mean?
Oh, definitely. So it felt like it took forever before like I seen a doctor or something. I got stretchered down to the finish line, and then I was in the back of the ambulance, but I had to wait for a doctor before I could get any painkillers. And I don't know where the doctor was, but there was another guy there with me, and I just started feeling my like foot going all like pins and needly on my right hand side, and I'd heard lots of stuff about is it compartment syndrome when you cut something internally and it just starts filling up. And I was so concerned I'd done that, and I was just shouting at this poor guy, like this poor Austrian man next to me. I was like, I need someone now, my leg's done. And then I can't really remember much more after that, because I just
So did the doctor come soon after?
The doctor arrived eventually, and then he was talking to me, and I just decided I didn't want to deal with this anymore and went to sleep.
Yeah.
I was just lying there, and I was like, this is too much. I'm just going to go to sleep.
And did you actually go to sleep?
Just closed my eyes and went to sleep, and just woke up in the ambulance like halfway to the hospital.
Without any painkillers?
I woke up with a mask on after so I didn't have the mask on when I like blacked out.
Yeah. So you fell asleep without painkillers, having just broken your leg?
The pain was too much. Maybe I passed out or fainted or something, but I was just like, I can't.
You're just like, this is too much.
This is too much.
The trauma of it as well.
I just like closed my eyes like really hard, and then it felt like the next second I opened my eyes I was in the ambulance.
Yeah.
And I had a mask on, and there was people like around me, and then I like closed my eyes again, wake up in the hospital. They're like, oh, we need to do surgery, and I'm just like screaming in the hospital.
Really?
Yeah. I'm just like, do whatever you can, do whatever. And then
me a leg.
I just don't remember. It was obviously hours between leaving the track and getting surgery.
Yeah.
But then I just remember being awake after the surgery and just feeling a bit rough.
Totally.
Oh, actually, the worst thing about it was they wouldn't let me have any water.
Because of the surgery?
Because I was getting surgery.
Yeah.
So I hadn't drunk anything since that morning.
Yeah.
And by the time I got surgery, it was that evening. And I remember just being so dehydrated and thirsty.
Oh man.
Like covered in dust, lying there. Like I'd like come to a little bit, and my whole throat was dry and my mouth is like fully dried up, and they wouldn't let me have any water. I was like, please, just a bit of water, please, please. And they were just not letting it happen. And so when I woke up after the surgery, I was like, can I have some water now? And they gave me the water.
Still no water.
And I just started necking so much water. And then I think Ross, Bell and Fraser McCubbin, people I was with, came to visit me in the hospital.
That's good.
And I was told I had visitors, and then just promptly just threw up all over myself.
Because of the morphine?
Because I drank so much like water and stuff. Because it was just like a sudden shock, and then I just fell asleep. I don't remember anything after that until the next morning.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It wasn't great.
Injuries where you kind of know the deal, like broken wrist, collarbones, because those are really common ones. Like you're kind of just used to those ones. Right?
Yeah, when you do your collarbone, it's
like,
fine. You go to the hospital.
Arms.
Yeah, you've broken your collarbone. Oh, great. Collarbone again. I'll just put that in a sling.
But ones where you don't know what's going on, like that. When we were in Portugal, do you remember that time? And I hurt myself on the track.
You had such a bad crash.
I had a really big crash, and I remember thinking I felt faint afterwards.
Yeah.
And I didn't like. I was just like had this serious pain, like it felt inside.
Was I on track? I think I was on track with you, and you were just.
Yeah, you were right behind me.
You were really not. You were not happy.
Yeah, and then I was.
You thought you had like internal bleeding.
Yeah,
or
I thought I'd
time.
done something like internally that I couldn't see, and I was like shitting myself because it was just I was like this feels so different to any crash I've had before or anything. And then also you're oftentimes when these things happen you're in a different country. And then like no one can speak to you.
Yeah. Oh, you just taken off. You didn't have your phone with you.
Yeah, I was just whisked off to.
You just whisked off to a hospital.
Faro or something.
Faro Hospital.
God,
we didn't know where you'd gone.
Yeah, and then
we just knew you'd been taken to a hospital. So I came and got you that night. And I was just like, is he going to be all right?
Yeah.
And then
I
got so lost on the way to the hospital.
I even raced the next day.
I drove onto a motorway bridge that was still under construction. I was just like in the middle of this bridge above a motorway. And the bridge just stopped. I was like, I don't know how I got here.
It was great to see you that day. Yeah.
You were completely fine.
I was completely fine, but I had no idea until it was just the last minute. They were like, you're fine, you can go. And all the while I'm in this room with just random other people and like just thinking like, oh man, I'm fucked. I've got internal bleeding, like this is it this time. And then some crazy
gone and done it this
Portuguese guy comes in and is like, you're fine, you can go. How much of how big an impact did that have on your confidence and how you like viewed riding? How traumatic was that for you?
It was pretty bad. I mean, I didn't ride a bike again for 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
And then after that much time off, you've sort of forgotten about it. So when you get back on the bike, you're like, oh yeah, bikes are good. But I was so sketchy. Yeah. I'm always sketchy. But you just, even though you've had 3 months off, like not even riding a bike, you just get on a bike and assume you're going to go the same speed as you were going before. Totally.
Especially I think for people who ride like we do, like if you've got kind of like quite aggressive, slightly sketchy kind of like riding style, I think when you come back from an injury, like this is how I've been the last couple of years, not from so much, although I suppose more recently an injury, but just from being not riding too much.
Yeah.
It's like you think you can, you do all the same stuff, you can take all the same risks, but you just like
clear the same jumps.
Clear the same jumps, and like you can't. You just get really punished because you might feel all right, but you're just like all the tiny little things that are going on. You're just not firing.
Yeah.
So then when you do try and ride aggressive and stuff, you crash and it's really sketchy.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
It took a while to get confident again. The next race I tried to do was in February of the next year. So this happened in June. And then the next February I flew out to Portugal for a race.
Yeah.
But
race.
Yeah. Trying to get points.
Yeah.
Even though I had points, but I was like trying to do some racing, get back into it. And the week before I was supposed to fly out, I had a crash in the woods and then was on crutches. Because I just flipped over the bars and hit my lower back off the tree, and it just triggered my whole legs would feel bad again,
Oh, really?
and I couldn't walk. I still went and had like a holiday because I thought it might just go away.
Yeah.
I thought like the numb leg would just fade and I'd
Yeah.
be able to ride my bike and do the race. But
Like,
I was
I
on
vaguely
crutches for
remember
the
that
whole
happening.
week.
Well, was it not in it was in Portugal? It was that place that we went. That was awesome.
Tarouca, yeah.
Yeah.
I was so excited to ride there because that was where we went when we were in Portugal,
Yeah.
and it was like the best ride ever. And the mayor came and seen us.
That was
Remember that?
ludicrously good, wasn't it? Like, we were parked at the top of this. It just felt like heaven.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like
Deep
completely
dusk, big
still,
corners.
beautiful place, like the starriest sky I've ever seen.
We're on like the highest hill in the whole area, so you're just like looking out.
Yeah,
so
it couldn't
far.
have been any more serene. And then we started doing some laps, and like the mayor of the town is out, like
He just comes up
just cheering us on and stuff.
with
It
his
was
two
ridiculous.
assistants.
Yeah, it was such a
starts
fun
taking
track
photos.
as well.
That was
Yeah.
a really cool place.
So is that when did you stop racing downhill around there?
No, I persevered for the whole of 2018.
Did you get any, what results were you getting?
So the 2018 also coincided with when they changed
The qualifying to top
to
60.
top 60, yeah.
Yeah.
So I managed to get to another Portuguese race a few weeks later.
Yeah.
It was European Champs, and I wasn't feeling hugely comfortable. And I'd done a GoPro run. I was like, oh, the time on my GoPro run wasn't too bad. And then the race came round, and I went slower than my GoPro run, than my practice run. But I felt like I was going as fast as I could go.
Really?
I was like, how have I just went slower than my practice run? That's embarrassing.
Totally. It's like us. Do you remember Wyndham World Cup?
Oh my god.
And we were both
I'd like to not remember that.
we were just doing all our practice together. I just qualified in Munson Am with what I felt was like, I was like, yeah, this will be no bother to
That's
qualify.
fine.
And then we're both just doing our practice together, just oblivious to how slow we were going.
Oh,
And
it's
then
so bad.
we do our qualifying. I was like, yeah, just put a safe run together. This should be
Safe
no
run.
problem. Come down, and I'm like, I think we got very similar times. That quite often happens.
We were like right next to each other.
yeah, and we were like
Last.
15 seconds off the qualifying pace
Yeah,
on a 2.5 minute track. It was like,
I remember us just being in shock after
yeah,
that. We didn't understand what happened.
it's funny because for me
We felt
that
like I had
was
a good run.
yeah, like I came down, I was like, that's safe, good run, expecting to see. I was like, yeah, I'll take
probably
77th, 67th, whatever.
Just snuck it in probably.
And then it came down, it was just utter. Yeah, it's interesting, for me that race was pretty much, that was when I stopped caring.
Yeah.
And then we went to Maribel. I
Maribel.
certainly had, like, this is 2014.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you almost went straight from America, didn't you? 'Cause
yeah,
you stayed out
straight
for a
from
bit
there,
longer.
stayed up all night, trying to prepare for the jet lag. But all I did was, I didn't sleep all night in Canada, and I thought I was going to sleep on the plane, and then didn't sleep at all on the plane. Met you in Edinburgh, then we went out to Maribel, missed sign on, missed track walk, fell out with
That's a
Matty.
familiar story for us.
That's true, yeah. And then yeah, I knew. So for me, that was like when I went up for qualifying, had this issue with my brake the whole weekend, and didn't really get it fixed. I kept on thinking it was this like series of unfortunate events with brake contamination, and then got to the top, it was contaminated, and I was like, oh, well, like I can't even safely go down really. And then I just remember, like, just suddenly I was like, this is weird because I don't actually care that this is like not happening for me. And then that was where I pretty much, because before then we'd both, for 2 or 3 years, we're both super committed and racing together a lot and going away traveling a lot and riding a lot. And then you carried on basically, and I like went to do
I just didn't give up.
other things. But that's what I want to talk to you about is like
It's
you're
taken us
sort
to
of
almost the top of the hill, but we've discovered what Morgan wants to know.
like your sort of journey, well, with mountain biking,
Yeah.
is quite interesting. Cresta's kind of similar because like when you even more so perhaps because you were racing right from the very start, like juvenile, youth.
Started second year juvenile.
But you didn't really-
2009.
Yeah, you didn't really get good until
Very recently.
I'd say probably maybe second year junior, and then
Yeah.
in elite. What do you think? Like, what is the cause of your sort of rise up and just sheer perseverance?
Just sheer perseverance. I mean, if you look at my roots and rein history, it's just gradual progression.
Totally, yeah.
When I started in juvenile, the merit of a good run was if I crashed less than like 4 or 5 times in my run.
Yeah.
I was coming last. I knew I was going to be last, but if I could just get down the track, then I felt like I was that I had a good time. And then youth, first year of youth, I started getting a little bit more composed on the bike. I couldn't tell you why.
Yeah.
But I maybe slowed down a little bit and then didn't crash as much. And then second year youth, I had a couple podiums in the Scottish races.
Yeah, I remember
that. So that was nice.
Yeah.
That felt like progression.
Because that was the thing, like, when you're racing at that sort of age, like, pretty much everyone probably who's taking it seriously going to other races wants to be a professional mountain biker.
Oh, definitely.
And
I mean, you're a child, that's all you can think about. You're like, this is the best thing ever.
yeah, exactly.
When you're that young, there's no pressure on you to be making money.
No, totally.
So you're on a bike, so you're just like, this is what I
want to do all the time.
this,
Yeah, exactly.
when I'm older, then that's what I'll do.
But when you get a little bit older, like leaving school and stuff, like it is, hard. Like working, you don't have a life.
No.
Working all through the winter, trying to train on top of that, and then you're like, the racing is fun, going away in a van or whatever. But you don't have a life so much. Like
no, you live a very different. You live in a very different way to your school friends.
No, exactly. And actually, it's quite. After a while, I think it becomes quite negative. Like it's not actually a great sort of place to be. But at that age, especially when you're making the sacrifices, you're doing it. You're energized by those like few good results.
Yeah.
Where you get like a glimpse of.
Like a little glimpse of it just takes that tiny little glimpse.
Yeah.
To give you hope.
Exactly, and that gives you energy for the next.
Even a split time.
Yeah, just anything. I was a grasp onto anything.
Even a timing error that you're adamant was not a timing error. Fastest speed trap at a race.
And then those feel your next sort of grim winter of not talking to anyone, working all the time, training all the time. And then I guess you started to get those. I suppose you're saying youth, like those podiums and stuff, where it's like a little glimpse of.
A little glimpse that something could happen. I was also lucky that the fast riders were away at the World Cups.
Yeah, I remember that because I think that was that around the time of Val d'Isère?
It must have been, yeah. So I was like, yes, Morgan's away at the World Cup. That means I'm guaranteed at least one position higher at the 58.
Yeah, because I remember that. I was like, Lachlan got a podium, whatever.
Whatever. Not even jealous.
I'm out here not qualifying in Val d'Isère.
Oh, World Cups. It's quite a funny endeavour just going to World Cups and not qualifying.
It's grim in some ways. I mean, it's good fun, and you're like, it's the same thing. You're just got this dream. You're just trying to make it happen. But
it's part of the good thing about enduro is you go to the race, and you're going to get to race.
Yeah.
You can have like a mechanical on a stage, but that's fine because you've got more stages.
What do you think the culture? Because especially, I mean, I can see why. Like at the World Cups, you're like a junior who's just trying to like squirm their way in there.
Yeah.
And you just get treated like no one gives a fuck about you. People hold nothing but contempt for you, basically.
My favourite World Cup thing was you trying to get brake pads off Shimano at Val d'Isère.
Yeah, I like go up to Shimano tent, speak to this nice woman who's like, yeah, just leave your bike here. We'll see to those. I come back, my bike's the only one in the rack.
Only one left.
I like sort of meekly walk up to talk to the guy, ask him if he's had a chance to look at it, and he's just like, no. Like coming to a World Cup without any brake pads, kind of stupid.
I just remember you coming back to the van and you're just like, your face is just flat.
Yeah.
And you're just like really confused.
It was just so
and
mean.
I was like, you got your brakes applied? And you were like, no. I was like, did he at least give you some brake pads? And you were just like, no.
You wouldn't give me anything.
I was like, okay, so you're now getting to race Val d'Isère on metal brake pads. Metal to metal. What a treat for you, Morgan. And then obviously I was thinking, fuck yeah, this means I'm going to beat Morgan again at this race.
Yeah, that was a funny one. We really messed up our prep for that race. Another
oh, we did.
Sign
that's
we
a
missed.
classic. That was our
Fantastic.
first year. Was that our first year racing World Cups?
I'd raced 2 the year before.
Oh yeah, you'd done it. That was the first year they introduced.
That was when they introduced the Junior World Cup, yeah.
Yeah, because you'd done them as an elite,
Yeah.
but as a junior
The year
as an
before.
elite.
Exactly. How do you think? What do you think the culture? Is there much of a difference between the EWS rounds and the downhill World Cups? Do you think?
It's a bit different. The downhill World Cups feel like bigger and scarier,
Yeah.
because you know it's all gearing towards this one run, and everyone's always in the same place. They're on the same track.
Everyone's
in the same
watching
pits, the big pits. But in EWS, everyone's always spread out because there's people doing all the different stages, and you're not really in the environment where you're getting watched by everyone, like a downhill World Cup.
Do you prefer that?
Uh,
It's kind of pros and cons, isn't it?
Pros and cons. It's pretty good. It's really good at a World Cup if you do well.
Yeah.
Because you're like, yeah, that's right.
Everyone watch this.
Everyone's seen
Watch
that.
this right here. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not as bad as I thought I was. There we go.
Do you miss downhill at all?
I do, yeah. I'd like to do more downhill. But then enduro is sort of less terrifying.
It does. It
feels
probably
like-
is a bit safer.
It's sort of safer in a way, but you're also just there by yourself. You don't have the pressure of like the crowds. Some stages you do, but you get so many chances through the day that you've always got a glimmer of hope
Yeah.
that you can have a good stage result, and that makes your weekend feel good.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a good stage result.
You've got more chances for those little glimmers of
Little
hope.
glimmers of hope. As you were saying earlier, you're just wanting something to cling on to.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
So it doesn't matter if you came like 70th on the weekend, because look at that, you had a top 10 stage.
Exactly.
You're like, oh, if it all just went right for me, I'd be top 10.
That's true, actually, because like in what was it, finale? Can't remember which one, but you got a top 10 on one of the stages. And that's all I
last year,
remember
yeah.
of that race.
From the timing.
I'm just like and since then I've been like, wow, Lachlan got a top 10 on a stage. You know, like he's like, that's sick. Do you know?
That's what
You
I
don't
think too.
focus on the whole.
It's true, the whole thing
I
is
suppose
cool.
most people do.
Yeah.
People that don't know you, I suppose. But, like,
Coming from downhill, I just looked at like a whole World Cup series in one event. I think of each stage as a different round.
of a World Cup.
Yeah, like imagine like a World Cup series, you've got 7 races maybe. And if you do well at one of them in a year, well, I'd like to do well at more than one, but if you've done well at one in a year, you'd look at that one. You'd look back and think, I want to do that more.
Yeah, exactly.
But in EWS, because you've got 7 stages, or more or less, every single stage is like a World Cup.
Yeah, yeah.
You're just like, if I can do well on this stage, it just gives you a little bit of confidence.
Totally, yeah. Throughout the weekend.
If you like do well on the first stage of the weekend, then the confidence just carries.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what happened to me in Pietra. I done the first stage, thought I'd done really badly, and then tried quite hard in the second stage, wasn't feeling smooth, and then I was on the way up to the third stage, and someone was just like, "You're sitting top 20." I was like, "Oh yeah, with top 30 not to come down yet." Yeah. I was like, and they're like, "No, everyone's finished." I was like, "Oh, interesting." And then the next stage I came 10th. I was like, yes, here we go. But then it all dawned on me. I was sitting 10th overall after the third stage. I was like, this is unprecedented.
Yeah, yeah.
This is unbelievable. I've made it so far through this race and I'm doing quite well. And I sort of tamed it back for the next stage, didn't attack. And that dropped my position back to 18th or 19th. And I was like, oh no.
Can you do it so that you don't?
As Cresta was saying, the
Cresta
weather
brings
had
up a
changed.
good point. The weather had changed.
The weather had changed.
Our bike was dirty after stage 4.
He also.
It's true.
They also had dirty bikes, listeners.
Our bikes were dirty.
The bikes were
It's
dirty.
a big disadvantage. Let's not forget.
Do you think that? I would have thought you wouldn't want to know your results as you were going for that reason.
Well, yeah, you don't really. I hadn't thought about that. I was just like, I wonder how I'm getting on.
Yes, you check.
Well, I want to know how I'm doing. And then you start to hear it, and you're like, okay, well, if I'm doing this well, I need to tone it down.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this well.
Yeah, I don't need a top 10 now.
I want to tone this down. I want to just finish the race.
Top 20 would be great.
Top 20 is fine. Let's just do that. Let's not hurry this.
It's funny, that happened to me one time once in Ann. I qualified really well. It was just like,
Was
felt
that
like
in
a
junior?
chill, yeah, in junior.
That was funny.
It felt like a chill run. Like just did feel super in control. Came down and it was like 4th or something. And I was
you
like,
were top 5 because you got 3-minute gaps.
yeah, and then I was like, oh, because I'm thinking it's the opposite. You know, like I'm like, well, all the fast guys are still to come.
Yeah.
I forgot that, oh wait, all the fast guys have been.
It's just you.
It's just
you.
me, and then
it's more slow people coming down now.
Exactly, yeah. And then it was just like, wait, this is the kind of result that I'm dreaming about getting. Like, this is crazy. But then had 2 days similar to like an enduro. You have a lot of time. It's not to sit with it.
Yeah.
And then it's so hard not to ride too safe.
Yeah, having that day in between qualifying and the race where you can just sit and mull over how your performance was, and you're like, well, I don't want to try and go any faster than that.
Yeah, totally. Or even in enduro, just having those like just bits between the stages, like where you know
exactly.
it changes things.
Well, we're at the top of the hill now.
Gold run.
We're at the top of the hill and we're in the middle of about 5 conversations. Isn't that good? There's been no consensus about anything so far.
We haven't really rounded anything off.
Goodbye, everyone.
Until next time. Lackey poo.
Tinted lens for the dark woods. What a treat.
I'm scared. I've been scared all day.
I don't know even know where we're going. I've got to try and ride and look like I'm competent on a trail.
Yeah, so this is more important you look competent.
Where are we going? Where are we going?
Anywhere you feel fit.
Let's just get lost. I went so over that way. Oh my god, that looks sketchy.
The gold run.
That was fun actually. I just went over that last corner. Well, we lost Cresta.
Easy to drop him in these roads.
Oh, no problem. You still got your microphone on.
Yeah.
That's good. Grab this shit.
Yeah, Cresta.
Oh, let me just point the camera.
How'd you like them?
Still not here.
It's not a real track.
God.
That's quite intense.
Yeah. That was actually really fun.
Tried to pull the trigger on a few gaps there though.
Yeah, I said this with you. Krista was like, what are you doing?
And then we came charging into that bit that I remember from so many races. You know when it's just like stumps and roots?
Yeah.
I just came charging in there with no control.
Yeah, there was a few bits I was just like, it's fun though because you just accept that you're going to get wild. I was just like, I'm just going to stay with Lachlan and that's it. And then I just blew that corner, just caught me by surprise. I didn't realize we were going left.
There was a few of the straights and I was actually thinking, I could let go of the brakes a bit more, but I know for a fact Morgan will also let go of the brakes. I know I want him going that fast behind me.
Is he all right?
Maybe we just blew up his brain because of how like confusing route we took. Over there now.
Kristen knows all the lines here. It's funny because I just write these shows like I've never written them before every time. Maybe we should go.
Getting lost again. Getting lost again.
Yeah, sure. Let's try and make our way over to Gold Run that.
Let's do it.
No! No!
Oh! Oh no, it's muddy!
Oh no, wrong.
Yeah, we're on Cresta.
Whoa. Whoa. Hello, welcome to the outro. I'm sure you heard Crystal's comments. I'll let you decide. I can't remember what he said. He said something about Morgybear struggling or something. I think, was that it, Crystal?
I think I just said you're slow.
No, that wasn't it. It wasn't that. Couldn't have been. I wasn't. Something about me struggling now or something. Anyway, I'm sure you'll agree. I wasn't. Comment with your feedback. Ideally, give this, tell him, give this guy some criticism. There's lots to criticize. I'm not going to make any suggestions. Be creative. Any feedback is welcome. And as always, we want your likes. We want your comments about Crystal, negative ones. And we really want your subscriptions. So please subscribe. I really hope you enjoy it. We're going to be doing these less consistently than the podcast. We don't really have a timeline so much. We're planning to do a bunch this year though. So stay tuned and we'll be back with some more. I really hope you enjoy and see you next time.